Welcome back to our position focus series here at Cyclone Fanatic. I'm Chris Williams. He's Austen Arnaud. Rolling through the offense. Next up are the tight ends. A position, Austin, that, really Colin Franklin left, and it's like, it's going to happen here. Ernst Brunn comes out. He ties Josh Lenz with 6 TD receptions in 2012. Ernst is he's a heck of a receiving tight end. I think he's one of the best in the Big 12 heading into 2013. And now you add an E.J. Bibbs, who chose Iowa State over Oklahoma. Now he was injured most of the spring, so it's hard to tell what you're going to get from E.J. Bibbs. But my point is, and maybe this is an amateur opinion. You can tell me, but if Bob Stoops wanted him, I'll take him at Iowa State.
I will too.
I think that's fair.
All day.
So you got both of these guys now. Maybe seeing both on the field at the same time. Who knows? They've got to be healthy. But at the end of the day, when you got a young quarterback and you don't have a lot of experience at wide receiver, I like having options at tight end.
I like Ernst Brunn, NFL prospect, I believe.
I think so too. Yeah,
he can run. He's physical. Great hand-eye. Great ball catcher.
Smart kid.
Yes, very smart.
He'll own the interview process as far as the NFL goes.
He's a very eclectic individual. Is that the right word?
Just go ahead and roll.
Probably didn't use it right, but it's all right.
Just
anyway,
roll with it.
E.J. Bibbs, and I've heard great things being around, and he runs better than Colin Franklin is what I'm told, and that's Colin Franklin was 260 some pounds at his pro day and ran a 4.60, I believe. So that's high praise, and that's a guy that has spent time in the NFL on a roster and is trying to make a roster again. But EJ, if he can, he's another guy that we compared to earlier, Aaron Wimberly, a young guy that if he can grasp the offense and take it by the horns, it's gonna be scary having 2 tight ends out there that can make plays.
Well, they're identical too. Brunn, and this is on the depth chart that Iowa State released in the spring, 6'3", 251. Bibbs 6'3", 250.
Yeah.
And there's not a whole lot of difference between these guys.
Except I think EJ even runs better, and Ernst will probably have something to say about that. But
is that a challenge?
It probably is, and it definitely is a challenge. You guys duke it out. I'll be watching or standing somewhere by. But I think it's a good situation to have, and a guy that we see on the depth chart as well that everyone at Iowa State loves, especially on special teams. Ben Bozen he was the player of the year last year on the team for special teams as far as guy of scout team, scout team player of the year on special teams. So that's a guy you have promise for, and he's very thin. He's 230. He's a guy that can put on some weight, but Coach Blau loves him, and he's a kid that has a bright future as well. I think just helping this team out.
Let me ask you this from a former quarterback standpoint. How much does having 2 quality big targets help Sam Richardson in really his first year of quarterbacking?
It takes a lot of pressure off. If you have tight ends, and that's why, back in the heyday, Iowa was so successful. They had good tight ends and great safety valves. Most of the time, if your running back's not your check down, your tight end is. He's your safety valve. He's your underneath. He's sitting at about 5 yards over the ball trying to spot up. So when you have guys like that, and these guys aren't your prototypical spot up guys. These guys are going to be downfield, flexed, split out by themselves, one-on-one coverage. Wouldn't you love to see Ernst catch another fade ball in the back of the end zone? He can do that. And that's something that EJ, I believe, can do too. I've just seen him limited reps, and a guy that we obviously haven't talked about is Pierce Richardson. I know he was going through some ailments in the spring, which had hurt him, but it's a room that's for the most part got some experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think too, we talked about this with the running backs earlier in our position focus series, but when you have those questions at wide receiver, it really does open up the ability to do the 2 tight end thing, to put an Aaron Wimberly in the slot. And I'm not saying I think that Iowa State's wide receivers are going to be junk. We'll talk about them in our next video.
Right.
But there's not a ton of proven guys there.
Right.
I think the wide receiver position, like you said, as far as the check downs goes for a young quarterback, not only it's not checking down to Chantrell Johnson either, who's small, who's there's going to be traffic. This is a 6'3", 250-pound guy you're going to be checking down to.
And
you loved it. You leaned on the tight end all the time when you played.
Anytime I could find Colin, I was giving it to him, and that's the deal. And Ernst is a guy who already has established a relationship with Sam, and they had a great year together last year, and it was for a short 3 or 4 games with Sam.
Yeah.
So as long as they continue to build on that relationship, tight end is a quarterback's best friend in my opinion.
All right. Well, I think we can both agree Brunn is the guy.
Yep.
Number 1. Bibbs number 2, probably Bosen, then Richardson after that is the route I would go.
Yeah, and it's like I said, experience is key in this room, and I think, as long as they can stay healthy, it's going to be a great group to watch.
All right, that's the tight ends. He's Austen Arnaud. I'm Chris Williams. Coming up next, we're going to talk wide receivers here in our position focus series at CycloneFanatic.com.